afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to All About Sports. Today, we discuss the latest news about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in which former New England Patriot Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement to play alongside with his boy, Tom Brady. Tampa Bay also received a 7th-round 2020 pick in addition to Gronkowski, while New England received a 2020 4th-round pick. I'm your host, Luca Vitale, and joining me today are Ethan Polak from Just Talking About Sports, and then Sriman Narayanan. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
I'm all right.
All right, Sriman, I'm going to come at you first today. Where do the Buccaneers stand after the Rob Gronkowski edition?
Well, frankly, I mean, if we look at Gronk's stat line in his last season, he wasn't anything special. And if I'm correct, that was the year they won the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that last game, he played pretty well in that Super Bowl. But aside from that, his output that season was deteriorating. He's been injury prone throughout his career just because of his size and the amount of shots he's taking. So I don't think a year off is really helping anybody. I don't know how much of a help this is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially considering they already have a pretty solid tight end in Howard. But we'll have to see what the Buccaneers do. Maybe they'll go to a double tight set, which we've seen the Patriots utilize in the past when they had Gronk and, knock on wood, Aaron Hernandez. But yeah, I don't know how much of an impact this has on the team. I still don't see the Buccaneers doing anything too crazy next season.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, from a Patriots standpoint, this is honestly huge because if you don't know that the Patriots basically got a 4th rounder for a guy that retired. So he basically just got a 4th rounder for nothing because he already was done with the Patriots. And then 2 years prior to that, he already was – the reason why he retired in the first place is that he was going to get traded to the Lions, and he didn't want to be traded to the Lions because that's just a dumpster fire of an organization. And he decided just to retire instead. And then he took his 2 years or a year off where he could just party. And now that he's back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, yes, he's a tight end. Yes, he has a great legacy, but the man's 31 years old. He is old. He is definitely deteriorated just like Brady, and they're finally reaching their point. It's just a matter of time. But I do like your idea of getting O.J. Howard and Gronk in the lineup, but like if you already have such great wideouts like wide receivers that they already have with Godwin and Mike Evans, why don't you rely more on them and just take one tight end at a time? Maybe do something with that, but it's all up to what Bruce Arians has to do. I mean, Gronk has been Brady's number one passing receiver ever in history. Like, he's caught the most passing touchdowns. So the chemistry will definitely be there for the Patriots or for the Buccaneers between Brady and Gronkowski. But it's just I don't know. He's old. He's going to be definitely a lot slower than teams expect. So, and all this Bleach Report just said now. I just got a notification saying that teams are annoyed that this Brady Gronkowski meetup is in the Bucks. So. Funny, I just got that notification now, but definitely just a wild scene. Do I see them getting any better with this pick? I don't think so, in my opinion. He's just another tight end on the team. He'll be able to catch the minds of the defense, like the teams when they have, at least the defensive coaches when they go up against him, because they have to create a plan to stop Gronkowski and O.J. Howard and everyone else. But Gronk is just going to be a big guy that's probably only going to be used in the red zone. So if there's really any improvement, I think there's still plenty of talent in that NFC South that it's going to be harder for them to win with ease as all these teams are giving them. I heard their Super Bowl odds went from 16-1 to 12-1. So people are really jumping on the bandwagon, and I'm worried that people are going to get overreacting over this because last time people jumped on a bandwagon, it was with the Browns, and we all know what happened there.
Well, hold on a second. What do you mean a challenge in the NFC North? Really, the only competition they have in that division is the Saints. That's really
Falcons could also be there too. I'm just saying.
And I think the Panthers are honestly
with McCaffrey, they could be a surprise.
Realm of competing.
The thing that I worry about the Panthers is their wide receiver and tight end positions. Otherwise, I think they have a fair chance. I have the Panthers finishing 8-8 this upcoming season, so we shall see what happens with that.
I think with it's Teddy Bridgewater's down there now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's a very solid quarterback. We saw it in his years in Minnesota. We saw it last year in New Orleans when he came out for Drew Brees' injury, and he played just a great quality of football. So I think, and going back to what Ethan was saying about Gronk's viability. I do agree that he's not going to be the same kind of. I don't think he'll be the same Gronk,
No, he
but
won't. Right.
the fact of the matter is he's still an athletic specimen. Like he doesn't appear to have lost any muscle or anything. I'm sure he's working out. He needs to pass a physical, of course, for the trade to go through. But
He did already pass.
I think he
okay,
did. I think Adam Schefter already reported that.
well, there you go. So the NFL physical is not an easy thing. But a lot of guys pass that and come back and are not athletically, at the superior
Up
level.
to par.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that Gronk has never really been that great at was his route running. And as a wide receiver, I that's one of the first things I look at, and that's what I looked at with Jerry Jeudy last night. And he's not really been that good at looking one way and then breaking the other. So I'm not really that concerned about his mobility necessarily. It's more of, is he going to be able to continually take the hits that playing the tight end position will bring?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Ethan's point just a little bit, and then I'll elaborate on some stuff. But the Cleveland Browns bandwagon, I don't know why people jumped on that, because you got a quarterback in Baker Mayfield who is mediocre at best. But now you got Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is a way better quarterback than Baker Mayfield by all means. So we know that Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady, they played with each other 9 years. We know that. They won 3 Super Bowls together, 2014, 2016, and 2018, although Gronk did miss 2016 due to the injury he had. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler tight end. We know he retired shy of his 30th birthday due to the mental implications he had. He lost for joy of the game. He also had multiple injuries as well, such as the concussions. I think he broke his arm twice, as well as the herniated disc. We know that too. But when he was one of the highly regarded tight ends, I believe, in the league, with 521 receptions for 7,861 yards. Now, what I think about Gronkowski and the Tampa Bay Bucks, I think he's a significant upgrade for the red zone, because last year the Bucks were not that great in the red zone, scoring touchdowns with Defensive Player of the Year Jameis Winston throwing 30 interceptions. We all know that. So when I think about Gronkowski, I believe he's an elite target because he's got 29 touchdowns in his career. We know what he brings to the table, the familiarity what he brings, assisting Tom Brady in the cultural change, to have weapons available to Tom Brady on the offense. Now you got Gronkowski in addition to Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Cameron Britt. In those weapons, Tom Brady did not have those in New England. You had Philip Dorsett, N'Keal Harry, Matt LaCassie, which none of those people can get open because they were rookies and they couldn't get open simply because of that. But especially last year, and I believe that Gronkowski can say the same thing throughout his career. He didn't have the supporting cast throughout his career. Now, with Tom Brady, he really did only have 2 great targets in Julian Edelman and Randy Moss throughout in New England, I would say. Now, Gronkowski, when you talk about him in Tampa, yeah, he's not going to be a regular tight end like O.J. Howard will be. You're going to have a situation right now where he's going to be sitting on the sideline with his Versace shades, chilling, absorbing that Florida sunshine, getting the crowd into it. But Grady can find him in the red zone at a particular moment in time. Bruce Arians calling the offense. You got Brian Leftwich helping, doing that as the offensive coordinator, and having a familiar individual in Gronkowski will give him the football and scoring more touchdowns. Now, there's no question to me that the Bucs team will be one of the most elite offenses in the NFL next year, because you're getting rid of Defensive Player of the Year and Jameis Winston. Now, don't get me wrong. He is a great quarterback without the interceptions. He threw 33 touchdowns last year, over 5,100 yards. Get rid of those interceptions. This team is going to be in great position to compete next year. I don't think they'll be better than the 49ers in all means, but they will give them a competition next year.
Yes, they will give them a competition. Yes, they will definitely have they will be close to, if not have, a winning record. But will they be able to make it super duper far in the playoffs? I don't know. This team kind of gets some vibes that they have a feeling that they might choke it all at the end, because it's too good to be true. All these people coming to Tampa, in my opinion. I mean, yes, going back to with the Gronkowski, that Brady and Gronk have the 5th best duo ever for touchdowns in the NFL history out of all the players that have ever happened. So this is a big deal that these guys are finally back together once again. But the problem is obviously age is definitely a factor. And yes, that means that they are one of the better duos, but I just still don't see them really going that far in the playoffs, despite with all these weapons that they have. It's just something in me is just telling me that I know I jumped on the Cleveland bandwagon because I thought they were really it, and I finally learned from my mistakes that sometimes things are just too good to be true. So I'm not believing in it. But I mean, and same with Julian Edelman. After all this came out, he actually unfollowed Brady on Instagram and Twitter and all that because of all this controversy, because he was all best buds saying, oh, he's just going to Tampa Bay for himself. And then all this Gronk happened and realized, Brady's not my best buddy kind of a thing anymore. So it's kind of funny how all this is panning out. But I just really believe that with all this old age, 30 years old, 30 even 40-year-olds playing, it's got to reach a point where they got to slow it down and stop playing. And that's why I don't think that their father time is calling for them. And I don't think that, yes, they have a few more years in them, but those few more years do not have the same prime as Brady and Gronk once had. And I don't really see them reaching that same potential that they had when they were in Tampa Bay or in the New England. And that's why I don't see them really succeeding in Tampa Bay.
And another thing, I don't really see them as being an elite offense necessarily just next year.
Really? Okay.
Just because of if we're considering who else we're talking about in this NFC, we're talking about the Niners, who are clearly proven.
Correct.
Made a great run to the Super Bowl last year, led by a good quarterback and solid running backs that are leading an offense basically on their back. But they proved they could throw the ball too. We're talking even about like teams like the Packers, who might only boast one receiver or one running back, but we're talking about one of the best receivers in the game, who I still don't think gets enough credit, is in Devontae Adams. And we're talking about Aaron Jones, who's only going to get better from this season on. And then we go to the Saints, and who I think is the best receiver in the game right now, Michael Thomas. And Drew Brees is obviously proven he's shown no signs of slowing down. And we work our way down the list of last year's standings, and we go to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have DK Metcalf, and they still have their receivers, and Russell Wilson, obviously, he's still looking great. And we could do this with a lot of the teams, but I still don't think any of those teams, I still don't think the Bucs necessarily stand above and beyond any of those teams. I think they definitely, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think you make the case that they're in that top five. But we'll have to see how good they are in the red zone, like you said, because last year the Patriots did not have a great red zone offense. That was kind of where they stood as inferior to a lot of teams. They ended up, I think, like 24th in red zone scoring or something. But that was kind of the source of their woes last year. And thankfully for that defense, they were able to bail them out a lot of times. So I don't know how effective Brady's offense will be in Tampa Bay. But I still think, I don't know how elite of an offense that team will be.
Okay, well, I can agree about the Seahawks and the Saints being real threats, as well the 49ers being threats to the Tampa Bay Bucks. However, the Packers, no. The reason for that being, I am, it's not because I'm a Bears fan. I'm just saying. They were 13-3 last year. They got that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. They got Devontae Adams. But if you didn't realize, their defense was a top 10 last year, and they really held their part up last year. The offense really struggled. I mean, yeah, they had guys in like Lazard and Allison, and then here and there you'll see Jimmy Graham. But it wasn't that great. It wasn't like something that like the Saints could do or like even the 49ers had. But they were okay. They need to improve to be a threat in the NFC. But as of right now, I see the Bucs being a better offense than the Packers.
Still, I mean, you're also forgetting about Arizona, who just got all of their players. And they're only that whole entire NFC West is division to reckon with. And that's why I think the NFC West, NFC South, they're going to be top runners for this NFC this year. I mean, NFC North has a little bit of a cry that they might have a chance. NFC East is gross. They're not going to get anywhere near it. But it's those three divisions that have unbelievably stacked teams. That's why the NFC is 10 times better than AFC, in my opinion, because there's plenty of talent on all of these teams that show me that they have a chance to make it far. And that's why with all these teams in the NFC. If Tampa Bay was in the AFC, I'd be 100% down saying that they have a very good chance to make it to the Super Bowl, because it's just Kansas City. It's just a few other teams that might sneak their way up. But I really do see that because they're in the NFC, I don't see them succeeding that much beyond the bubble, because there's way too much talent, in my opinion, in the NFC this year. With just all those teams constantly, like you said, I'm just don't think that, once again, I'll continue to say, I don't think that this New England Buccaneers team have all the assets that they need to really further themselves. And yes, they have been getting some more pieces in the defense, but in the draft that they just did in this with their 13th pick, I think they moved up one spot to get was it an offensive lineman, or I forgot who they got.
Yeah, they moved up one spot to get an offensive lineman. Yeah.
So they got an offensive lineman to protect Brady, and then they're hopefully going to continue to fix the defense through the draft. But I don't know. I just feel like that running back position is still a void that they need to fill. And I think that there's just too much hype around this team, and that Brady and the Buccaneers, as I almost continue to keep saying the Patriots because I'm just so used to that, but Brady and the Buccaneers will not make it to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, yeah, I don't think they'll make it to the Super Bowl, but because I don't think they'll get past the 49ers, simply because the 49ers have proven how good that defense is. The Buccaneers do not have a defense even close to that. They don't have Bosa on there. So, however, with the running game in Tampa, I think the running backs are okay, and Jones and Barber, they're okay. But you also got Gronkowski. He's not just a great pass catch from the tight end spot. He's also an elite blocker, which will also assist the running game as well. Now, yeah, their offense, I believe, will be a juggernaut. Their defense improved the second half of last year, so I expect that to continue into this year as well, in which last year I think they finished around 15th. So it's okay. So they'll be all right defensive-wise, but getting to the Super Bowl, I don't expect that at all. But making the playoffs, I do, because with the CBA now in place, I think they'll make the playoffs.
Well, I think the running game is important in the sense that the running back provides a really important role in picking up blitzers that are shooting through the middle. And one of the things that you saw last year and why Brady went down more often than he usually did was because James White was not the best blocker. And we'll have to see how good of blockers Barber is, just because unless you have a big body back there. One of the things that I really liked about Devontae Freeman, who was a Falcons running back from a couple years back, he was a great runner, and he got a lot of fantasy points that way. But a lot of the things that he did was pick up blocks from all around the quarterback, and he gave Matt Ryan a lot easier of a job en route to his MVP season. So if the Buccaneers want to have a successful season, they're going to have a running back that's not afraid to butt up against these big Joey Bosa type guys that are shooting through the middle, shooting off the edge, and protecting his quarterback.
Yeah, their running backs are not that big. Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones are on the smaller side. They're not the big beefy guys that you see with Saquon Barkley or somebody else that could just completely stop anybody in their tracks. They're not the greatest guys, but they're more versatile players. They're going to be looking to do that. But I have a question, you guys. Like, what are your highs and lows? Like, how high do you think record-wise you think this team's going to go? And what is like your peak that you think they'll reach, or their lowest of the low that they'll make, like record-wise?
Their schedule.
So the Buccaneers, I know they play the NFC North this year. I know that. And obviously they got their division to play, which they can win the majority of their games, in my opinion. But I have the Buccaneers going 10-6. I think they'll struggle coming out of the gate because it's getting used to Tom Brady, getting used to that offense and all that time. We know Tom Brady. I believe he's a game manager. He can really get used to the offense really easily, but they will struggle coming out of the gate for sure. So that's why I'm going 10-6. I think they'll start maybe 0-2 and then continue to progress and get better. And then the defense, I believe, like I said, they'll continue where they left off last year because they lose a bunch of pieces, and they'll continue to get better. So that's why I'm going 10-6.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really comes up to the toss-up of the games that are Atlanta, New Orleans. They play Kansas City in there, and I'm just going to say they're going to lose that game. There's a couple games in there. I don't think they beat Green Bay. I don't think they beat necessarily even like it depends. Again, the Rams in Atlanta are always kind of a toss-up in the regular season. We never really know how good they're going to be. One year they could be playoff-bound, deep championship runs, and the other year they're like 7-9. So we don't know how good either of those teams are. We don't know how good the Bears are going to be. We don't know how good the Broncos are going to be. I think we could safely say the Lions will not be very good next year.
I hope you would say that.
Las Vegas, similar. But yeah, I just don't see teams. I don't see the Buccaneers being clear-cut favorites in any of these matchups. I think they're in that same kind of gray area that a lot of these teams are.
Do you have any final records? Because I know he had 10-6. Do you have any numbers?
I'll go with 9-7. I'll go. They'll squeak in with the CBA and probably go out first or second round.
See, for me, I just love to say it because I'm gonna have the highest that they're gonna get is 8-8 because I'm gonna laugh at them for being mediocre because that's what everyone else in the AFC has been for, or at least the AFC East has been for a while. So I think it'd be kind of funny to see them go 8-8 with all those like how hard their divisions are that they have to verse. It will be harder because knowing them, I feel like they're gonna go out to like a 3-0 start, and then things are just gonna go downhill from there. Like maybe injury here and there that screws up the entire offense that will make them lose their juggernaut status, and then they'll start losing. But that's why 8-8 I think is just because I want to be able to laugh at them and say that Brady is mediocre. But
what? He's mediocre.
I don't know. I mean, just having someone go at an 8-8, I'll give them the few wins, like big wins here and there, but I don't see them really making it that far. As with the CBA, though, anyone that is 8-8 will most likely make the playoffs from now on. So I see them making the playoffs.
I mean, the Cowboys are looking pretty strong, especially with.
I don't want to even hear that. Okay.
CeeDee Lamb.
I don't want to hear it.
Picked up CeeDee Lamb. They got Amari Cooper. They got Zeke coming back. They got Dak coming back. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb might be the factor, man. Amari Cooper is one of the best route runners in the NFL, and I think him and Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams don't get enough respect. I think the Cowboys make the playoffs next year, especially with that CBA. I mean, I think they might have had a shot at making it even without. I don't think there's any team. I mean, I don't think the Packers are really strong enough to clench onto that spot.
No, I have them going 8-8 next year, for God's sake.
Yeah, we just don't know. So it'll be interesting to see, but yeah.
So I have a question for Ethan here. So if the Bucs are going 8-8, who are they exactly losing to? Like, what do you have them losing to exactly?
Let me pull up this schedule because I do not have it up.
So while you're doing that, we'll talk about division-wise. So do you think they will win both games against the Panthers?
Do I think they will win both games? I feel like they're going to find a way to drop one of those.
Okay. Now, for the Saints, I believe, because New Orleans, it's like impossible to win there. So I have them losing that one, but I have them winning the home game. Then I get to the Falcons. The Falcons, honestly, it depends how they start out the season because the Falcons are a team like they're either going to be good or they're going to be horrible. However, at the end of last season, they really picked up some lack of success. So I was a bit shocked about that. So they could come out strong. They can come out pretty weak. So it depends about that. But I have them winning one of those. And the other team, I'm missing one other team, which is kind of embarrassing. Help me out here.
Panthers?
I already said all of them. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about baseball a little bit now.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Okay, so like Sriman said, they play the Chiefs. No way they beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and that offense and Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. You're not beating that. Just no way.
I can't find the schedule, but
okay.
I see them losing at least 3 or 4 games in the division.
Okay.
Well, outside of the division, we've got the Bears, who I think they
They'll
beat.
beat the Bears.
Well, where are they playing though? Because they
They're playing in
obviously
Chicago.
Oof.
Okay. And then you also got
They're playing, and then they play Denver the next week. And I think, and this is bias, but I think the Broncos are going to be pretty damn good next year.
What makes you say that?
I think Drew Lock is one of the better young quarterbacks
I
in the
respect
game.
him, yeah. But offensive weapons, who do you have?
Jerry freaking Judy, baby.
Okay.
Cortland Sutton. You've got Devontae Booker at running back. They've got some guys. They got
Melvin Gordon.
They've got Melvin Gordon at running back.
Okay.
If they run a two-back set out of the backfield with Drew Lock, Melvin Gordon, and Devontae Booker, that's very Judy in the slot.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe I'll reconsider my prediction for them, but yeah.
I think they'll be something special. I mean,
they have a good defense because of Vic Fangio. We all know that. But yeah. All right, all. Thanks for watching All About Sports. We hope to come back for another one.